Hello. I have just realized that I wasn't actually live yet on StreamYard. As you can see, I'm on StreamYard and I wasn't actually live yet. I know I'm live on Instagram because it says so up there, but I clicked the button once and forgot that you have to click it twice. So for those of you on StreamYard, I am just starting. For those of you on Instagram, I'm starting again. Okay, so welcome, 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 and thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to touch with you over the topic of diabetes and how to manage it and give you some little tips if we have time. Um, and I'm going to give you a recipe that includes one of your favorite foods, cheese. Yes, but it's going to be raw cheese, so that you can still enjoy eating cheese while you're eating healthily and getting yourself better. So, just so you know, the format for this show is that um, I'm gonna give you a few tips, but today's show I've had to rearrange because unfortunately my guest isn't here, and my guest would normally be doing the recipe with me. We do the recipe together and we talk about it. She or he asked me question, etc. And today's recipe, like I say, is going to be a delicious raw food recipe. The majority of the recipes that I do on these shows are raw recipes. So um, then I finish the day. I do the sit down. We sit down after the recipe is prepared and we eat together or nyam together. Then we labrish, which is we're going to chill and talk about topics. And today, like I said, I'm going to touch on diabetes. There are a lot of people actually out there nowadays doing diabetes, but I'm going to still touch on it today. And then after that, we're going to have a meditation session to finish the program today. And by the way, every week I'll give you a recipe that will help you to manage degenerative diseases naturally. For example, diabetes, arthritis, high blood pressure, heart disease, fibroids, prostate issues, neurological issues such as depression, Alzheimer's, and the list goes on. And these recipes are potent. They've worked for countless numbers of clients whom I've helped to rid themselves of these degenerative diseases in the past. What I'm sharing with you is what I've shared with hundreds of my clients who have suffered from degenerative diseases and have been able to reverse their conditions with the help of food and herbs. Every week, I send you a list of ingredients that we're going to use for next week, for the following week's recipe, so you can join me in creating the recipes. If you want to receive that list of ingredients, make sure you sign up right here in the list below, in the link below. If not, you can go to my link in bio if you're on Instagram and click on one of the buttons that will take you to the page where you can request the recipe. And if the link isn't down here for you to click, please don't blame me. I am not a techie and I didn't have the help today. That's my excuse. So if the description list is not there, please still go to link in bio, or you can tomorrow. This will be on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. So you can go there and click and leave the recipe for next week. By the way, on saying that, if any of you out there are techies who are looking to do something like virtual assistant, please reach out to me. I need someone desperately to take over that part of things so I can focus on what I do. Okay, so I do this every week. I send out the recipes every week. A lot of my clients like to get the ingredients beforehand so they can join me in the preparation while I'm actually doing it. So in the show, I'm going to share with you a meditation, a recipe that we're going to do together, except for today because my guest isn't here and da 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 da. So we're not going to share the recipe, but I'll be doing the recipe for you. And as I was saying, my special guest would normally be here, and we would have a chat and labrish and invite you to join us on the comment section, which I'm going to uh, put up here. It's great. It's up now. So, by the way, if you don't know me, I am Dr. Kalefa, and I help people to rid themselves, reverse degenerative diseases using methods that include raw food and herbs, which are effective, a very effective part of the healing process to rid the body of degenerative diseases and discomfort. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've helped countless people rid themselves of degenerative diseases physically, mentally, and spiritually, because it's not just your physical body that is unhealthy when you're not healthy. Your whole being is unhealthy. My programs, which incidentally are now online, are what I use, 90-day programs. I invite people to come on my programs, and that's how we work on these, work with you on whatever of those diseases you may have. So if you are tired, yes, of the pills, the pain, the fatigue, and the mental and physical degeneration, then click the link below and find out more about me and what I do, or go to my LinkedIn bio and check on the lots of testimonials and information there about my programs. Okay, so without further ado, let us get on with today's recipe. Okay, like I said, we're going to be doing a delicious raw cheese. My clients love this raw cheese. I have not come across anyone yet who have said they don't like this raw cheese. So it's a great substitute for those of you who find that you're having problems giving up cheese. You know, people don't realize how many people are actually addicted to foods, and so many different foods, and cheese is one of them. Yes. So this is why I want to give you this recipe, so that you can use it instead of going for the cheese, the general cheese, the dairy-based cheese, etc., which causes mucus in your body, and mucus is a precursor for inflammation in the body. And for what we do in terms of healing degenerative diseases, you need to make sure that you stay away from certain foods, which I will talk a bit more about later on. Okay, so what is today's um, what is today's recipe? We are going to I have done it here. I've got all lined out already. And this is quarter cup of lime juice. Yes, quarter cup of lime juice. And I'm going to bring the blender over. Yes, I use the Vitamix, even though it's pretty old. I've had it for some time, but it's so faithful. I've never had any problems with my Vitamix. So here we go. We're going to put the lime juice in first. And then literally you just put everything in. So a quarter cup of lime juice and quarter cup of tamari. Now, you can get the tamari in the health food store. But Tamari is soya based. So for those of you who may have an issue with using soya based products nowadays, I have I'm using this instead. Yes, I don't know if you can see it there. You can see it there. It's Bragg's coconut liquid aminos. Yes, Bragg's coconut liquid aminos. And I have added a little Celtic sea salt to it because it doesn't have any salt at all. And although, many of those, you don't want to be having table salt, we do need salt in our body. And I've added Celtic sea salt because it has nearly all of the minerals for that the sea that is provided by the sea. Yes, it has nearly all of those minerals. I think there's about 18 different minerals in Celtic sea salt. So, and also I love the taste. I sometimes use Himalaya pink salt. Where are you? I sometimes use the Himalayan pink salt, but I find I prefer the taste of the Celtic. So I'm going to put this in. This is a 1/4 cup of Tamari. And the next thing we have here is the nuts that we're going to use. And I have soaked this. This is cashews, but I would recommend pine nuts. Pine nuts have a distinct sort of, let's not waste it, a distinct sort of a cheesy sort of flavor. And that's the best one I found to use. I've made it also with, I can't remember. I'll tell you as I go along. You can make it with many of the nuts or seeds. So I'm going to put in the cashew nuts, which I've soaked overnight, so they're nice and soft. And I have here 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons of, excuse me, just a minute, of nutritional yeast. And nutritional yeast is great for B12, vitamin B12. Yes, it has other vitamins and other benefits, but B12 is one of the main things that it's known for. This is what it looks like. It's a powder. And if you want to, what I do as well, when I make vegetable pastas and things like that, I use it to sprinkle over them where you would normally put grated cheese or something. I use the nutritional yeast. I've also got in there 2 tablespoons of hemp. Where is my hemp? Oh, I keep it in the fridge just in case. But I put 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds in here, of hemp seeds in here, because I haven't got a full cup. It should be 2 cups of sunflower. Oh, that was what I was trying to remember, the sunflower or the pine seeds or the whatever nuts or seeds that you're using. It should be 2 cups, and the cashew didn't quite come up to 2 cups, so I put there the hemp instead. And I've not actually put cashew and hemp together before, so we're going to see how this comes out. But nutritional yeast and hemp are especially the hemp is got, it's one of the blessings that we've been given in terms of herbs. It has so many benefits. It's just tons and tons of benefits. So we also need 3 cloves of garlic. Yes, but I love garlic, and I love to put that extra taste from the garlic in there. So you can see that's not quite 3 cloves. There's about 7 there. So I'm going to put that in quickly. This just shows you that you can adjust the recipes to suit your taste. Maybe the first time you do it, it might be worthwhile just trying the recipe as is, but then I would recommend that you just can adjust them to your taste. So you literally just blend this. Yeah. So I'm going to put this to blend, and I'm going to turn this around a little bit so you can probably see me while I'm doing that. There we go. And there we go. So I'm going to blend this now. So give me a moment. Okay, so this is coming out a little because of the mixtures. It's coming out a little too loose for me. I like it to be a bit kind of tighter. So I'm going to add some more hemp seeds and add a little more nutritional yeast. So you see, you can mix and match and move around with the recipes. So here we go, another 2 tablespoons of the hemp. 2 tablespoons, I said, another 2 tablespoons to keep this in the fridge, because if things are left out, this is the hot time of the year, so there's loads of ants who climb up the walls. So I have to be sure not to leave anything out. So I'm going to put another tablespoon of the nutritional yeast. Okay, let's do another blend. Okay, so there we are. It's still not quite as thick as I wanted it. This is more like a dip, but the one I did towards the end of the year, I didn't put any hemp seeds and I put a little less lime in it, but this will make a nice dip. And when you put it in the fridge, it hardens. Yeah, so it's best to keep it in the fridge, and it will last for quite a while. And you can add, I didn't add any today, but you can add things like cayenne pepper, just a little bit, because you don't want your cheese to be too hot. But you can add, different things, jalapeno pepper, and um, uh, just different things that you might like to taste in your cheese. Okay, so that's that. And it's done. And there you go. You've got, I don't know if you can see it there. It's a little more runny than I had planned, but it's still there. Once it goes in the fridge, it will harden up a bit. So what I'm going to do before we sit down for our labrish, Nyam and labrish. I don't know if I explained that to you, because I actually explained it at the beginning and then I went back. But Nyam is a Jamaican word, or an African word, which we still use in Jamaica for eating. And labrish is a Jamaican word for chatting, chilling and chatting. So we're going to sit down, we're going to nyam and labrish, but it looks like I'm the only one who's going to be nyamming today. So let me get my bowl, and I'm going to put my cheese in here and put the rest, just enough to nyam today. And I'm going to put the rest in the fridge. Okay, so that is a cheese that you can use a recipe. The full recipe will be on the description, in the description. If you don't see it there tomorrow, then keep looking, because it will be there. Okay, as if my tech work hasn't really come out the way I planned. Okay, last week just before Christmas, when I did this, I actually roasted a breadfruit and used the breadfruit to eat with the cheese, because breadfruit, it's a fruit in Jamaica. It's bread that actually grows on the tree. Yes, it's breadfruit. It grows on the tree. And I'm going to still try and show you breadfruit. We roast it or boil it or steam it and whatever. But I roasted it last week and use it to eat with, not last week, the last program, the last show, and used it to eat with the cheese. But I don't have the breadfruit this week. But what I do have is, I do have a cake which I made from breadfruit, breadfruit flour. So I'm going to have my cheese with a piece of breadfruit flour cake. And the breadfruit, if a friend of mine makes the flour from the breadfruit, Eunice, she's a Rastafarian lady who makes Jamaican products and sells them here and abroad. And I bought my breadfruit flour from her, and it's gorgeous. Actually, it tastes absolutely divine, and I know it's going to be even better with the cheese. So let me get a knife, and I can now sit down with you and move on to the next section of the show. So just to go over the recipe, actually, I won't go over it because you'll find it online. Okay, so let me see what I have here next. Okay, so before I begin, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about diabetes and try and give you some tips and things. I have been treating people for degenerative diseases for a very long time. And I remember when I first started doing this, I was towards, well, not very long after I started. It's quite some time ago. And I was sharing a house, a clinic, with a friend who was a colon hydrotherapist. And I was the nutritionist, the clinical nutritionist at the time. And I remember I had, excuse me, tastes great with the bread. Okay. So I remember I was treating clients who were coming to me with all manner of diseases. And in those days, we were told that diabetes could not be reversed or cured or whatever. I was told that was impossible, and that whoever developed diabetes, it was hereditary, for one, and also cancer, etc. They were all hereditary diseases and could not be cured. So while I was working with some of my clients, those who had diabetes, I came up on it, by mistake, because those who had diabetes were healing from their diabetes. But my friend, I remember a gentleman, he had diabetes, had been diagnosed 14 years, and 9 of those years he was on a high level unit of insulin every day he had to take. So you can imagine he was really fed up of the medication, and his legs had swollen, they'd started to turn black, which meant the blood wasn't getting there anymore, and he could go get gangrene. And when he came to me, he could hardly walk anymore. He could hardly do much. His energy levels were zilch, etc. And within a short space of time, having started my program, he and he didn't tell me this until a lot later. He actually came off of his medication because he felt so great without my permission, because normally I would have him go to his clinic and check and have all of that done. But he came off of his medication, and he started to tell everybody he has no more diabetes. And after a little while, he went back to the clinic to have his AC1 test. And they told him that his sugar levels were normal, but they couldn't believe when he said that what he was doing in order, because they said, no, it's not possible for diabetes to be cured. And the lady I was working in partnership with, she kept telling me, tell your client to stop telling people that he doesn't have diabetes anymore, because diabetes can't be cured. And I kept saying, well, as long as his numbers are level, as long as his sugar is level and it's normal, then there can't be anything wrong with that. And eventually he said, oh, he was so enthralled. He said, I have to tell everybody, and I'm going to write to the houses of write to 10 Downing Street and tell the prime minister and things. I said, don't bother with that. Don't do that. And he insisted. So I said, okay, go ahead and do what you want to do, but don't mention my name. Because at the time, you can imagine, even still now, there are problems with that. So he wrote to them, and of course they sent him back the usual standard letter, and he didn't hear anything anymore. And so he decided to write to Buckingham Palace. And he wrote a letter to Buckingham Palace. I said, please do not use my name, because I don't want to be in the middle of any sort of controversy. Anyway, he wrote to them, and of course he's got the usual standard letter. That didn't happen either. But he had no diabetes. He never took any more medication after that. And he was so happy. He lived and followed my instructions, did everything that he needed to do to stay healthy. And he never had diabetes after that. I also have another memory where around that time, a young lady came to me, and she, after she healed herself, she was healed. She didn't have diabetes. She had another problem. And she sent her parents to me because both her parents had diabetes. And they lived about 300 miles up the other side of the country. But she brought them down and kept them for, I think, just over a week or something. And I worked with them and then gave them some bits and pieces to take away and told them what to do. And I told them, after a certain amount of time, you need to go and have a full checkup. Go back to the clinic and have a full checkup. And one day, about 2 or 3 weeks later, the young lady rang me and she said, there's a problem. My parents are in the hospital. And I said, what do you mean? What are they doing in hospital? She said they went to the clinic, and the nurses took their blood and told them that they asked them, what have they been doing? And they told them they were coming to me, and they were eating differently, their lifestyle was different, etc. And she said, it's not possible. She said, you can't not have diabetes. Once you have it, that's it. And they decided that the readings for the blood test wasn't right. So they decided to take more blood. So they took blood from under their arms, they took blood from other places on their bodies, and it still came out normal. And they decided, well, this can't be right. They told them, this can't be right. Something has to be wrong, because you cannot cure diabetes. You cannot get, past diabetes. So they gave them insulin and sent them home. Yes? And of course, it speaks for itself. They ended up in hospital, because when your blood levels are normal, when your sugar levels are normal, you certainly don't take insulin. So these are some of the experiences I had many years ago, when people still were believing that degenerative diseases were hereditary and could not be cured, and diabetes is one of them. Okay, so before I begin, let me establish that the school of learning that I went to, we are taught that there's only one disease. Yes. Everything springs from one disease, and that's enervation. That's when your body becomes enervated. That means your nerve energy is worn and low, and your body is no longer able to function the way that it's supposed to. The functionality of your body, you lose that. Your digestive system starts to go, your whole, even your nervous system, everything. Your nervous system is is the nerve energy that the body depends on. So when that nerve energy becomes low, your body just can't function. It just cannot function the way it should, and you will gradually just deteriorate. And everything in our body depends on our nervous system. Yes, even to blink, to think, everything we do depends on our nervous system. So when it becomes enervated, when the energy becomes so low that our bodies just cannot function anymore, and we begin to head into a diseased state. So diabetes, yes, diabetes right now is a pandemic in the world. Yes, it doesn't need to be, because diabetes can be prevented and it can be reversed. Yes? And like I said, this was many, many years ago when I came up on that. But now we're able to actually talk about it. We're not afraid anymore. Both I've helped many, many, many people, countless people, to reverse diabetes and live normal, healthy lives. Both type 1 and type 2 diabetes can be reversed. And you can go a long way towards preventing diabetes through certain lifestyle practices. So, what is diabetes? Diabetes type 1 is due to, they say, damage in the pancreas, where the pancreas is unable to make insulin. And this is often blamed on genetics as well. Type 2, or late onset diabetes, develops later in life. And again, it's the same cause. The pancreas is not able to do its job as well as it should. So let's take a very brief look. I don't want to drag this on. This is our Nyam and Labrish session, and I'm not nyamming much. And diabetes, let me just show you I'm just going to cut this down so that I don't take up too long, but I hope you can see that there. Yes, that's one cell in the body. Yes, that's a cell, represents a cell in the body. And under normal circumstances, the foods that you eat, especially the carbohydrates, are converted into glucose, which is the sugar. And without that sugar, your body cannot function. Yes, and normally what would happen is that the pancreas would send the insulin to open. These are our little receptors on the outside of the cell. And the pancreas has the key, the insulin is the key that opens those receptors and allows the glucose to go into the cell. And they metabolize with these little things here, which are called mitochondria in the cell. Yeah? And that's how they produce energy. And you need this energy. Yes. Every day you need that energy in order to survive. Yeah. But what happens along the way, and I'm not going to go into it too deeply, but what happens along the way is that our lifestyle, as the foods that we eat, um, tends to, and especially since uh, more and more processed foods, processed carbohydrates like um, cakes and whatever rice and pizzas and all of these foods that are false foods. They're made from refined carbohydrates. Yeah, and these refined carbohydrates are deadly for us. Yeah, the refined carbohydrates causes our our um, our problems in the cells of the body. Yes. And what happens is that we're producing too much glucose. So the insulin, the pancreas becomes wary because of all this insulin the more glucose, the more insulin it has to produce. And the glucogen levels become, when there's too much glucose, the liver changes it to glucogen and stores it in the body. But even then there's excess glucose, which is then eventually turned to fat. Yes, and stored as fat. And this fat is stored in the liver and in the cells of your body. And as you can see here, this intramyocellular lipid, yeah, is actually just a long word for fat in the cells. These yellow things here are fat in the cell. So the cell begins to get clogged up with these. And this is why I wouldn't say nearly everyone who comes to me who has diabetes also has fatty liver. So you have this cell now which is clogged up with to take a shortcut with these fat cells. And when the insulin comes now to try and open the receptors to let the glucose in, it's not able to. Yes, it's knocking at the door and it's not able to. And on top of the fact that it's having to do this when the insulin is low, it has to bring glycogen to the cells, and then it's too high and it's too low. And the pancreas just becomes worn out. It can't do its job. So it starts to produce less and less insulin. Yeah? So this is why they call it insulin resistance. And then the glucose now, because it cannot get inside the cells, builds up in the blood. And that is what diabetes is. A buildup of that glucose, which is produced from the carbohydrates, and under normal carbohydrates, the body would deal with it. But because these are refined carbohydrates, yeah, which are no good for your body, this is what we end up with, is diabetes. Okay, so um, the best thing to I would say to use to prevent that happen in your body is foods, plant-based foods. Yeah. Wheat is another thing that is actually causing a lot of problems with diabetes right now, because wheat was hybridized. I can't remember when, I think it was in the 30s. A gentleman who hybridized the wheat got a Nobel Prize for it, because he apparently was looking for ways to prevent starvation in the world. And this was a way um, of producing more wheat over shorter periods of time. So, but this hybridized wheat is deadly for the human system when it comes to diabetes. That's behind a lot of it. That and refined sugar. Those are the two top things which are um, at the back of diabetes. So, um, what I can say to you, plant-based diet, healthy fats, high protein, and high fiber foods are the best thing that you can use right now to prevent you getting to that stage of diabetes. Um, okay. So, what I would suggest as well is that you go online and look for the glycemic index. Yes, the glycemic index is it's a list. Is it a list? It's a measurement. I would say a measurement of what foods will what foods go into your blood quickly and then lose. So that's why you when it goes quickly into your blood, you drop quickly, and then the glycogen comes along, pulls you back up. Or you may eat sweets or Mars bars or whatever to lift back you, and then you're doing this, yes, which is not good for your system, obviously. Um, so that's in a kind of nutshell. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, but that in a nutshell is what happens to your body when you have diabetes. But you can prevent it. Like I said, you can change your lifestyle. And one of the ways you can do that is through your food. Okay. So that's that for today. I do hope. Oh, let me look in the chat. Okay. It says can't post comments to some destinations. Okay. All right. So that's that. So today I'm going to do a meditation. I wish you could taste this. It tastes lovely. The cheese is gorgeous, and you can use the cheese as a dip as well. Mm. You can you can use the cheese as a dip. Just cut up some cucumber, carrots, do some roast sweet potato chips and things like that. Incidentally, if you're going to eat potato, eat the sweet potato, and you want to prevent diabetes, eat the sweet potato, not the Irish. Um, if you're on my program, then I go obviously into more depth about why these things are. So this is absolutely gorgeous. You've got to try this. You've got to try this recipe. Oh, okay. Let me not get carried away with the eating. So your meditation for today is, where are you? I think is I can hear, perfect hearing. Mm-hmm. And all of the meditations that I read on my program are coming from Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of Science of Mind. And I studied Science of Mind many, many moons ago. And I still live by the principles of Science of Mind. So this is from one of his books, and I'm using all the meditations that I've used so far are from Ernest Holmes. Okay, so just take a nice deep breath and relax your body. Just take a nice deep breath, and as you breathe out, just allow your body to just relax and sink into the chair. Let your shoulders drop. Take another deep breath deep into your abdomen, not into your chest. Yeah, deep into your abdomen. And as you breathe out, just imagine the muscles on the top of your head relaxing. Feel the relaxation spreading down into your forehead, around those little muscles in your eyes, around your eyes, your eyelid, your cheeks, your jaw. Allow your teeth to part just a little bit and let your jaw sag. This is where tension tends to build. So let your jaw sag and allow your teeth to part and relax the tip of your tongue. Feel the relaxation spreading into your neck, out across your shoulders, your shoulder blades. Feel those large muscles in your shoulder blades as they relax. Feel the relaxation spread down your arms, through your elbows, your wrists, all the way out to the tips of your fingers. Now take another deep breath and relax the muscles in your chest, internally and externally. Relax the muscles in your abdomen, internally and externally. And allow the relaxation to spread down those large muscles in your back, all the way down to the small of your back. And allow your buttocks to relax. Let the relaxation spread through your hip, into your thighs. Feel those large thigh muscles as they relax through your knees, through your calves, through your ankles to the bottom of your feet, and all the way out to the tips of your toes. And now I'd like you to just imagine that you're in a nice, calm place that is a favorite place for relaxation for you. Some people like to go to the beach. That's one of my favorites. I go to the beach and just sit there and allow the lapping of the waves against the shore to just take away any remaining tension. And I feel the sun on my skin. Imagine you can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. And you feel it penetrating every cell in your body with its healing rays, healing you, rejuvenating you, cleansing you. And just imagine you can see that blue sky, clear blue sky, not a cloud in sight. Clear blue sky. And just feel the gentle breeze as it caresses the hairs on your arms, your face, your legs. And allow yourself to relax deeper than you've ever relaxed before. Just relax and enjoy. And as you're relaxing so well, I'd like you to just ponder on these few words with me as I read. Perfect healing. My hearing is perfect. It is God in me hearing his own voice. And no belief in inaction can hinder that hearing. There are no impaired organs. Every idea of the body is now complete and perfect and functions according to the divine law. I open my ears to hear. I am receptive to truth and can understand it. Open my ears that I may hear. I'd like you to just continue to ponder on those words and think about how they relate to your spirit. And in a few moments, when you're ready, you can begin to return to full awareness and open your eyes. Okay, before you go, remember to click like and to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and to also do the same on Instagram and Facebook. And if you want the recipe for next week, you can contact me through those means, and I will send you the ingredients so that you can work with me on the recipe next week. And what else do I need to tell you? What else do I need you to know? Oh, my books. Yeah, if you go to the link in bio, you can click there, and you can. There is a link for you to go to my books. I have two ebooks there. One is Super Drinks, and one is Super Shakes. And I'm working on the super chocolates, which will be up soon. I'm serializing a book that I wrote in 2010. So those are available, and you can also click to have a free 15-minute chat with me. You can also click and go to my website and my landing page and read and listen to some of the video and written testimonials on there, read about me, etc., etc., etc. And on the scroller here on the StreamYard, there's also the information. Um, there's also information about my sites and things. So please do come again next week. Next week is going to be more exciting because I have another really exciting guest. And if you want to see the past videos that I've done recently, you can go to YouTube and look for my channel at Dr. Kalefa on YouTube, and you will see a list of all the videos that I have done. They're not all in the same place, actually. I'm going to have to put them in a playlist. Oh, I need that virtual assistant. Okay. Have an absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. And I hope to see you next week.